May we settle into our seats and call this meeting to order? Thank you. Good morning. You know, there's something we haven't done in a while and we forgot all about it. It's the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, please say it with me. If I forget, maybe I should mute this. All right, right hand over your heart, one of these flags, and start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Oh, thank goodness. It's like riding a bike, you don't forget. Good morning. I am Nanette Ong, your April program chair, and welcome to our hybrid MLS breakfast meeting where we have attendees here in person and virtually on Zoom. A little about me. Now, as you know, I am your program chair for this month, and you've also known me to be in special events as well. Now, all of that, I didn't do alone, and I just wanted to bring note to someone that has helped me along with the process of behind the scenes, and it's someone on staff. Now, I thought she lived in a box or she was a genie in a lamp, and I just rub my hands together and then she pops up and helps in any way that she can. So sometimes I feel like I didn't realize that staff have a life outside of the association as well. And that person that helps me through these meetings and special events membership events is Belen Barrios. Now, Belen is here. She's always been camera shy. She's always on Zoom. Behind that picture of a man, now, a man in a suit and tie, that's Belen Barrios, but as we all know, that is Albert Tran's picture. So let me introduce Belen Barrios here. I've been wanting to do this. She's so camera shy, but she is right over here. There she is. Belen is married. Her husband is Edward Barrios, and they've been married for 30 years. Now, I call that a house mortgage paid off. So you're free and clear, Belen. So your marriage is built to last, and I'm happy for you. Belen has also a daughter. Her name is Amber, and that is also in the picture, as you see there, with Belen, her daughter, and her husband, Edward. Her daughter graduated from USC, and she works with Ed Roski. I don't know if anybody knows Ed Roski. He's a big development realty company, and she is VP of Capital Markets over there. So, Belen, you did a great job with your daughter. Yes, it's a round of applause. So she is a UC graduate, and then Belen also, or the family also have 2 dogs. Now, I didn't catch their name, Belen, but I know she mentioned the brown Yorkie had passed away recently, so I'm sorry to hear about that. But what were your dogs' names? I'm gonna go over there and ask her.
Gigi and Charlie.
Gigi and Charlie are her dogs' names. They're very cute. Thank you, Belen. I just wanted to share that about Belen, and I appreciate everything she does for us and for me to help us succeed in our events. So now, just a reminder, just to go over a few housekeeping tips. All participants on Zoom will be muted upon entry into this meeting. Should you have a question or a comment, please feel free to enter into your chat box. If you're here in person, please feel free to raise your hand for any questions or comments, and we will address you when possible. Our meetings are weekly. We hope you can join us for our hybrid MLS breakfast meetings every week on Thursdays at 9 a.m. Please register in advance online and let us know how you will be attending by selecting live or Zoom on the online registration. Our meetings are recorded and are available to watch on your YouTube channel, West San Gabriel Valley Realtors. To stay connected with WSGVR, please follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or join our text messaging group by texting the letters WSGVR to the number 888-304-4055. You can also watch our pre-recorded videos on YouTube or find more information on our website, wsgvar.com. We have great things on the agenda for you today, both fun and informative. The agenda today includes our affiliate spotlight by Ann Cho of Jewel Escrow, followed by our guest speaker, Los Angeles County Tax Assessor, Jeffrey Prang, and some fun drawings and raffles. We have brought back the attendance drawing, the 50/50 raffle, and the WSGVR store gift card drawing. Just a reminder, to be eligible for today's raffle, you must be a WSGVR member, and if virtual, your name must be displayed to win. No telephone numbers will be accepted as your name. For the 50/50 raffle, please remember to buy your raffle tickets right now, if you haven't already, before our drawing later in the meeting. Our apologies to Zoom viewers, the 50/50 is only available here in person, so you must come here to participate in that, since there is a California law about winning online. David Tran is walking around with the 50/50 raffle tickets you can purchase. You can just wave him down. They can buy online, but they cannot win. Today's MLS quick tip is failure to timely report listing status changes and sales. Reporting of sales, listings with accepted offers shall be reported to the MLS or input into the MLS database as pending or active under contract within 2 business days of the acceptance by the listing broker. So you must change the status within 2 days. Upon final closing, the listing broker shall report or input the listing in the MLS as sold and report the selling price within 2 business days of the final closing date. Failure to timely take the necessary corrective action referenced above will result in the issuance of a citation and a fine in the amount of $250. So nobody wants that. Watch out for that and make sure you change your status. Okay, our affiliate spotlight is brought to you by the affiliate committee, Brandon Savansky from First American NHD as chair, and Joseph Nguyen, Pillar to Post Home Inspections as vice chair. It is now time for affiliate spotlight. Let's welcome Ann Cho of Jewel Escrow, and I believe she is joining us virtually. Can we unmute Ann Cho?
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Ann Cho. I recently joined as an affiliate for the West San Gabriel Real Estate Association. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm available for any questions or assistance for escrow services. Our office is in Diamond Bar, but I actually live in the San Gabriel Valley. So I am local to you guys. If you guys have any questions, I believe my information is on that newsletter that just went out. So you guys can always reach me at any time. But thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Ann Cho of Jewel Escrow. That's lovely. We will now have our affiliate introductions of the day. I will first start with Angie Tang of First American Title.
Thank you, guys. It wasn't allowing me to unmute myself. Hi, guys. Good morning. Angie Tang, First American Title. Thank you. Have a wonderful and sunshiny day.
Thank you. Next, we have Brandon Savansky of First American NHD.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry I couldn't be there in person, but I'll see you guys next week. This is Brandon Savansky with First American NHD. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you. And those affiliates that are here in person, please go ahead and line up here in front of the stage, and I will call on you accordingly. All affiliates here, please come on up and line up and get into camera view. We have Nancy Chan of Lawyers Title.
Good morning, everybody here and on Zoom. I hope to see everybody soon. Nancy Chan, Lawyers Title.
Hold on, Nancy. Let's redo that because the camera is just, so I was just practicing. Okay, everybody go ahead and stand behind
so
her
should we
so we
go-
can all see you while we are doing the introduction. Go,
Am I in-
Cosmo, go ahead and move forward over. So no camera hogging, Cosmo, scoot over a little more. There's a lot of people behind you.
Oh, so we should
You
just
go.
line up. Oh,
Okay,
we
there you go.
around.
Okay, right there.
There we go.
Okay, let's,
Listen to that.
Nancy Chan of Lawyer's Title.
Good morning, second take. Nancy Chan, Lawyer's Title. Nice to see everybody.
Next, we have Sandy Franco of First American Home Warranty. She's not here. We move along to Mark Wu of Allstate Insurance.
Good morning, everybody. Agency owner Mark Wu for your property insurance needs. Have a fabulous day.
Thank you. Next, we have Judy Chow of AAA Capital Investments.
Good morning, Judy, Senior Loan Officer. Have a great day. If you need loan help, please contact me.
Next, we have Teresa Lamb of Corinthian Title.
Good morning. This is Teresa Lamb with Corinthian Title Company, and I wish to see you soon, actually next week. Haha, in person. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have John Wax of Snap NHD.
Good morning, everyone. John Wax with Snap NHD, bringing you over 27 years of experience for your NHD tax and environmental needs. Have a wonderful caravan and a great week. My information's in the chat.
Thank you. Cosmo Sanchez of New Aim Funding.
Good morning to everybody online. Don't be afraid to meet us in person. We don't bite. It's great to be with you all today. Thank you.
We have Yolanda Arenas of WFG Title.
Good morning, everyone. Yolanda Martinez Arenas, WFG National Title Company. Hello, it's good to see everyone and also in Zoom land. Make it a happy and productive day.
Joseph Haggerty of Orange Coast Title.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. Joe Haggerty with Orange Coast Title. Very happy to see people I haven't seen in a little while. Good to see you.
Jacqueline Cho of Champion Escrow.
Good morning to all of you. Jacqueline Chu from Champion Escrow. Have a good day.
I'm sorry, it's Jacqueline Chu. Okay. Oriana Chan of Prime Lending. Starts with a P.
Good morning, everybody. Oriana Chan with Prime Lending.
Alina Chu of Glen Oaks Escrow.
Good morning, everyone. Alina Chu from Glen Oaks Escrow. It's glad to be here and see everyone in person. So come on over. Have a great day.
David Tran, and also our 50-50 raffle seller.
Good morning. It's nice to see everybody here. I'm glad to have my job back. I've been on unemployment for 2 years. So buy some ticket for me. Thank you.
And Chris Hahn of Gem Mortgage.
Good morning, everybody. So nice to see faces and smiles and no masks. I love it. Good to see everybody.
Thank you to all our affiliates. Please remember to support them with your transactions. They are very helpful and informative. Give them a call. Thank you. Open pitching. We do not have any open pitches today. However, remember, if you do, please submit your request to pitch by the Tuesday before the Thursday meeting. That is 2 days before the meeting. Okay, now they say there are 3 things certain in life. That is death, taxes, and the rising sun. Who quotes this? Anybody know? Someone said Confucius? Close. Trump? He doesn't even show his own taxes. I don't think it's him. It is Benjamin Franklin and my dad. My dad used to tell me, because I would ask him, are you sure I am in trouble? And he would say, as sure as the rising sun every morning, I am sure you are in trouble. So, okay, thanks, Dad. Now, the other 2 are quoted by Benjamin Franklin 200 years ago. Now, these 2 are certain, but one of them is not certain today, so we will not talk about that since we are all here alive. So I mean, if you're not alive and you're here, that is pretty scary. So we're going to talk about taxes today. We have Los Angeles County Assessor Jeffrey Prang, who was elected in 2014 as the 27th assessor for the County of Los Angeles and reelected in 2018. Raised in Warren, Michigan, Assessor Prang is a graduate of Michigan State University. After graduation, Assessor Prang is after graduation, Mr. Prang relocated to California, where he served nearly 18 years as a council member for the city of West Hollywood, including 4 terms as mayor. Upon taking office in 2014 as the Los Angeles County Assessor, Jeffrey Prang implemented sweeping reforms to ensure that the strictest ethical guidelines rooted in fairness, accuracy, and integrity would be adhered to in his office. Assessor Prang is a State Board of Equalization licensed appraiser and administers the largest office of its kind in the nation with 1,200 employees that provides the foundation for a property tax system that generates over $17 billion annually. Now, I have a question about that, whether we get tax returns on something like that. Anyways, let's give a warm welcome to Assessor Jeffrey Prang. And he is with us virtually.
Thank you very much, Belen. It's nice to be with everybody. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be with you in person. Although the one advantage of Zoom is I can do multiple meetings back to back all over the county without having to leave my desk. But I do appreciate the opportunity to visit with you and to offer some updates about our office and the things that are going on in the market. Want to also acknowledge Ling Chow, who's also a valuable member of our Assessors Advisory Council. I think the last time I had the chance to speak with all of you was last March. I spoke about the anticipated impacts of Prop 19. Today, I can share with you some of the disastrous updates that have occurred since that went into effect. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you, Belen, and everyone else, that I am actually not the tax guy. If you can't avoid taxes, it's a good saying, but that should be directed at the tax collector. He's the guy who does taxes. We just do property valuation. And I'll be happy to give you his phone number. His name is Keith Knox, and you can send all your tax grievances directly to him. But as you know, and as I've stated in the past, the primary job of the assessor is the production of the annual assessment roll, which is essentially just the inventory of all taxable property in the county, both real property, land and buildings, as well as business property, which includes furniture, equipment, and machinery. The assessment roll serves a number of key functions. Obviously, the basis of it is the property tax system, but secondly, it's also an important planning tool for local government. They see it in anticipation of the property tax revenues that they're going to collect to pay for services, and it also provides some insight as to the health of the local real estate market. So we are going to be closing the current assessment roll on June 30th. We work on a fiscal year, and I will have new numbers for you sometime after July. But in the meantime, the current assessment roll year that we're working on is the 2020-2021, which represents the 11th consecutive year of property value growth countywide. It's noteworthy that despite the pandemic, despite the recession in parts of the economy, that the real estate market, particularly the housing market, continued to grow at a rather robust pace. The assessment roll grew last year at about $63 billion, or about 3.7% over the previous year. We are anticipating that this year's property value growth countywide will be much stronger than last year's 3.7%. The value of all taxable property in the county last year was more than $1.7 trillion. That generated about $17 billion in property taxes, which is allocated to local governments such as cities, school districts, and county services, and that pays for services that we all rely upon, such as public schools, roads, hospitals, libraries, all the basic local services. And as I said, right now we're in the middle of our forecasting season. We're going to be presenting our official forecast to the Board of Supervisors next month, where we estimate where we think the actual number of percentage growth will be for this year, which, as I said, we expect to be stronger than last year. Give you an idea of what was happening over the last year in the local market. I've included a table that displays property value growth percentages and parcel counts for a number of the areas that you serve in the West San Gabriel Valley. The total combined assessed value for each of these cities was well over $35 billion, and we're optimistic that that growth is going to continue. As you'd see, almost everything was, all those cities grew more or less within the range of LA County as a whole. I know it's also no news to you that the housing market in LA, in the county, still is experiencing more than 2 years of record highs. Housing prices increased so much that $1 million homes have become the norm in more than 50 neighborhoods and cities throughout the county, while the rest of the county is still witnessing all-time high transactions. I've included another chart here highlighting the updated growth in select cities and neighborhoods, as well as the median sales price for the median sales price and the year-over-year growth in those cities. As you can see, that almost everything within the West San Gabriel Valley is starting to push $1 million, and last year every city grew at around 10% or higher. Wanted to move on, and I would talk a little bit about Proposition 19. The last time we met, I told it was just going into effect, and I didn't have a whole lot of news, but I did want to give you an update about where we are right now. And anyone who doesn't remember what Prop 19 is, just briefly, it was an amendment to Prop 13. It does two things. It allows those who are 55 years or older, the disabled, or victims of a natural disaster to transfer their property tax base with them when they move and purchase a new home. You can transfer 3 times to a home of any value and anywhere in the state. This is a great expansion of benefits that used to exist for seniors. On the other side of the coin, it reduced family inheritance benefits. So parents giving their property to their children, grandparents giving their property to their grandchildren have fewer property tax benefits than existed prior to Prop 19. The big challenge that we've had, and you may have read about this in the newspaper, is Prop 19 is the largest change to Proposition 13 since it was adopted in 1978. I did want to say that the implementation of Prop 19 has been a significant challenge, not only for the 58 California county assessors, but also for the Board of Equalization, which is responsible for establishing rules and standards for assessors statewide. We worked incredibly hard to engage with the Board of Equalization, with other assessors, and with the community, such as realtor associations like yours, to identify what's working and what does not work in the current law. To be candid, the challenge that we're having right now with Prop 19 were baked into the measure for a couple reasons. One, they wrote the measure in 2020 at the end of the legislative session, and it was poorly written. It was full of ambiguities, inconsistencies, and contradictions, and it was essentially, as adopted, unenforceable. And this resulted in assessors statewide having a very difficult time figuring out how to apply this measure with so many deficiencies. And part of the other problem was that the measure, as adopted, only gave us 2 months to implement it, which was an impossible task because it's a significant change to Prop 13. We need technology changes, logistics changes, workflow changes, statewide coordination. We probably needed conservatively 12 to 18 months, but they only gave us 2 months. It went into effect February 16th last year. As a result, we didn't have the instructions on how to process that. So I'm going to use an analogy which kind of sums it up. Let's say that somebody gave you a piece of furniture from IKEA, and they gave it to you without parts and without the instructions, but told you you had 15 minutes to put it together because people were on their way over to use it. Well, this is what we've got with Prop 19. It needed a lot of clarification that assessors didn't have the authority to impose, we needed legislation to clarify that. We did get legislation enacted last year, but they kind of slow walked that. They didn't write the legislation until after Prop 19 went into effect. What that meant was everybody who applied for a Prop 19 transfer last year, we weren't able to process it. We just had to put them in a pile and wait until we got legislative clarification to fix the deficiencies in the bill. And then once it was passed on September 30th and signed by the governor, we had to wait a couple more months for the Board of Equalization to do its job to establish statewide standards and regulations. As a result, there's several thousand people who applied for a Prop 19 application because they've not been processed. If they purchased a new home, many of them have gotten supplemental tax bills. We will, once we've worked all these cases, we'll be able to resolve those and everybody will get their money back. But we were dumped this significant challenge in Prop 19 that just wasn't resolvable until we got this legislation done. So we anticipate that by the end of the year, we'll have caught up on the backlog and remedied all those folks who are getting supplemental tax bills. But I did want to let you know what is happening. You may be hearing this from your clients and others in the industry. I did want to say, though, there is another variation on Prop 19. There's a lot of people, when they voted for Prop 19, were not very well aware of the reduction in inheritance benefits. And there's quite a bit of anger about that. And the reason why the inheritance benefits were reduced is in order to provide the benefits to seniors to transfer, that was going to have an impact on revenue, because if you're transferring your base year when you buy a new home, it's not being reassessed, and therefore there's no new tax revenue that would go into schools and local government. So the way the CAR compensated was they reduced the amount of benefits for families to pay for the senior benefits. So, but that seems to have angered a lot of people. So there's now an initiative being sponsored by the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. They're calling it Repeal the Death Tax. And in simple terms, if it's adopted, this initiative will restore Proposition 58 and 193 to the state constitution. It will add an adjustment for inflation. So instead of exempting your residence and $1 million in assessed value of other property, this Repeal the Death Tax Act will exempt $2.5 million in taxable income from other property. So signatures are being collected and underway. I think the deadline is coming up any day now. We're paying very close attention to this initiative because if it's adopted, many of the challenges that Prop 19 brought will end up being able to be rolled back. Another issue I want to raise with you on the legislative front deals with alternative dwelling units, ADUs, and this is related to Senate Bill 9, which you may be familiar with. This was adopted last year, and with its adoption, more and more property owners are either building accessory dwelling units or planning to build them on their property if they have the space available. So Senate Bill 9 requires all cities to allow one additional residential unit to be built on a parcel which is currently zoned for single-family dwelling. So in a lot of ways, it's eliminated single-family dwelling R1 zoning in California. The law will allow up to 2 residential units in a single dwelling unit, excluding any ADUs. It also allows you to divide your parcel into 2 parcels and build up to 4 units between the 2. The law was passed last September, went into effect on January 1st of this year. And it's important to remember that it only applies to property owners who in the R1 single unit residential and OP1 Ocean Park single unit residential zones. The reason I'm talking about this is because if you're going to be adding an ADU, if you're going to be building another unit on your single family lot, it's important to remember that new construction is generally reassessable. If you're adding, if you're turning your home into a duplex, adding bathrooms and kitchens will result in a reassessment. If you build an ADU, that will result in a reassessment. If you divide your parcel into 2 parcels, it's also important to remember that all the other taxes that you receive, the things such as the direct assessments, such as for sewer, schools, stormwater, those will be applied to each of those parcels. Some of those are per parcel tax, some of them are based on the value of the property. So it is likely that those taxes would increase over the course of those two parcels. While there may be revenue opportunities for dividing your property, adding an ADU, or converting your property to duplex, it's also important to keep in mind the property tax implications. I also wanted to talk to you briefly about something we call decline in value. I'm sure that you have clients who may believe that their property has been negatively impacted and has reduced in value for a variety of reasons. Please share with them that if they believe that their property value warrants a review due to a declining market, although the market is not declining, but there may be conditions that cause individual property to decline, they can file an application, which is available on our website, called Decline in Value Review. The 2022 decline in value period is from July 2nd through November 30th. That's for the current year. Applications for this will be available on July 2nd. As you know, under California's Prop 13, we established the base year of property tax for assessment at the time of the transfer. It also caps the growth of properties assessed value to no more than 2% a year unless the market value of a property falls below the base year. In 1978, California voters adopted Proposition 8, which allows for a temporary reduction in assessed value when the property suffers from a decline in value. And this decline in value occurs when the current market value of the property is less than the current assessed value of the property as of January 1st. So let's say you bought your home for $1 million, but something happened and you can't sell it for more than $800,000. So the value of that property has reduced. We will lower that assessed value down to $800,000 until it is restored back up to the $1 million value. Last year, there were about 59,000 declining value reviews countywide. Most of those are still up in the Antelope Valley, which was very negatively impacted during the recession back in 2008 to 2010. And many of them are commercial property owners. But it's important to remember that if anybody's experienced a value reduction, could see the property go up more than 2% if it's being restored to its original assessed value. The other things you've probably heard me talk about a lot before, and that deals with tax savings. My office manages a number of programs to help folks save money on their property taxes, programs for seniors, veterans, those living with disabilities, nonprofits, among others. Last year, taxpayers realized about $650 million in savings throughout all these programs. The one I think you've probably heard me talk about in the past, I'm going to continue to talk about, and that is the homeowner's exemption. This exemption allows anybody who owns their home and who occupies that home as of January 1st, allows me to reduce the assessed value by $7,000, saving about $70 a year annually on your taxes. It's a one-time application. The savings renew annually. And as you can see on this chart, Alhambra, Monterey Park, Rosemead, and Gabriel Temple City, about more than 25% of all homeowners in those cities who qualify for this savings don't apply. And the reason they don't apply is because they don't know about it. And I always like to point this out to realtors, because I know a lot of you do direct mail or email marketing. You're always trying to find some helpful tips to offer your clients and prospective clients. Reminding people about the homeowner's exemption, I think, is one way to do that. I recommend that any of your clients are going to a copy of the homeowner's exemption when they go in so they can start saving right away. And finally, I don't want to miss out the opportunity to highlight our new improved website along with some of its content. I've always emphasized in the past that we've created a special page for realtors on our website. We call it the Real Estate Professional Toolkit. We put information on there to help you with your professional development, information that we think would be useful for you to share with your clients and prospective clients. I urge you to bookmark this page and sign up for our quarterly realtor newsletter, where we'll send you a lot of helpful tips for property owners that we urge you to share. So in closing, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all today. Did want to call your attention to our annual report, which is on our website, which includes a lot of useful information about each city in LA County, including those where you do business. We also have a addition to our Realtor newsletter, we have a general newsletter where we provide a lot of tips to property owners in LA County. I urge you to subscribe to them both. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to our partnership together, and happy to answer any questions. I have a number of our my experts on the call with me today, and to help me answer questions. All of our contact information is here on the screen, as well as in the chat.
Thank you, Assessor Prang. Very informative, and I believe everybody was really enlightened. We do have a couple of questions in our chat box. Let me get to those. And anybody here in the room that has a question, please raise your hand, and Christine will come to you to have your question answered. First question is from Judy Chow. Why is PIN number needed to pay online? Other counties such as Orange County do not have this.
So again, the paying your taxes online is not a function of the assessor's office. It's a function of the tax collector's office. The reason they have that PIN is for your security, so that they can ensure that the person paying is the person who is applied to the appropriate property. That's a unique PIN number that comes only on the bill that you're mailed. I don't know who would want to pay your taxes otherwise, but it's just another added level of security.
Is the homeowner's exemption reflected on the property tax bill?
It is. On the property tax bill, it should say, there should be a little category that says exemptions, and next to it, I believe it says homeowners. And it would be a $7,000 reduction in the assessed value. Robert Izazaki is my expert online. Robert, is that how it's reflected on the bill?
Yes, so the tax bill will show the total assessment value. It will then have an item for exemptions if there are any available. If you are receiving the homeowner's exemption, it will have that $7,000 reduction that the assessor pointed out. And then below that, it'll show the total taxable amount. So your gross property value less the homeowner's exemption.
Thank you. We have one question here in the room from in person. That's Tom Berge Sr.
Yes, Mr. Prang, when you indicated before that with an ADU, there's a reassessment if you add an ADU to your existing unit. Does that mean a full reassessment, or is it just a reassessment of the portion that the value of the addition?
Just the value of the addition. Okay. And kind of a little bit more information than you're asking, but when we appraise, we assess the value of a home, we do a market-based comparison. We look at similar homes that sold recently in the same area to determine the value. But when you do new construction, we use a different methodology. We use the cost methodology. We'll look at your actual cost, but the cost that we assign is a market-based value based on regional cost standards based on quality and materials. So the cost of the cost we apply for the assessed value may or may not precisely match your actual costs.
Thank you.
So let's say your home was worth $1 million and you do $250,000 of new construction, you'll now have a combined assessed value of $1,250,000.
Thank you.
It may be that the market value of that property is now worth a whole lot more because you've done this new construction, but we will not do a complete market review.
I hope that answers your question. Next, we have Nancy in person.
Okay, when you have one ADU, one junior ADU, is the same, or you have to add more assessed value?
If you have a home with an ADU and a junior ADU?
Yeah.
All right, that one's a little sticky. Robert, do you know that one?
Yeah, so it's a similar situation to if you were just to add one regular ADU. So whenever the first ADU was added on, we would reassess or assess the value of that ADU, add that value onto the existing property tax base. If the junior ADU was added on second, we would then assess the value of the new construction of the junior ADU and add that on top of the existing assessment for the single-family residence and the pre-existing ADU. So it's similar to the example that the assessor pointed out previously.
Thank you. Hope that answers your question. Next, we have one from our chat box. How can seniors reduce their property taxes?
Well, there aren't really any programs available just to reduce your property taxes. The most, obviously the easiest one, and it's not a huge savings, is the homeowner's exemption if they don't already have it. The tax savings programs that are available for seniors really deal with transfer of the base year and inheritance. But if you're just living in your home and you want to reduce your property tax burden, there's no programs that allow us to reduce those. There is a state program, a property tax deferment program from the state of California. It kind of works. Maybe it's not a great example, but kind of like a reverse mortgage, and it allows you to defer your taxes, and upon death, then the estate will pay for the taxes.
Thank you. Another question from our chat box. Will something about hearings still be online?
Yes, what they're probably referring to assessment appeals.
Decline in value hearings.
So decline value hearing, I think, is something that it gets challenged to in assessment appeals. So assessment appeals are what happens when you disagree with the value of your property and the taxes you're paying. And you can go before a hearing officer or before the assessment appeals board, and they will adjudicate the difference between what we have assigned as the value of your property and what you believe it is. Those have been done virtually since the beginning of COVID, and we anticipate that those will continue. It is likely that some of those meetings may begin in person, but we're probably going to see a hybrid with both virtual and in-person hearings in the near future.
Thank you. We have one question here in person.
Good morning, Mr. Prang. Regarding Proposition 19, usually you sell your property and then buy another one to transfer the tax. Can you do it the other way around? You buy it first and then sell it later and transfer the tax?
If you want to use Proposition 19, you have 2 years after you sell your home. You can purchase a new home and then sell your other one. But keep in mind, if you do that, you're going to be responsible for the higher taxes until your original property is sold. So if you sell your original property first and then transfer it to a qualified new property, you won't be hit with those additional taxes. But there is it's not retroactive. You have to the original property has to be sold before you can transfer that value to the new property.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from our chat box. How long of a time frame will an ADU be on the property information or property tax?
How long does it take to get onto the?
How long of a time frame is the ADU on a property information? I'm just trying to read this question.
I think I understand what they're asking. Robert, do you have any idea how long it takes to complete that type of transaction, get that information onto the database?
Yeah, so generally the entry of information regarding the ADU or the addition of the ADU, it can get onto our website or our database and records pretty quickly. The part that is a little bit more time consuming is the assessment of the ADU. And part of that is dependent on how fast we receive information regarding permitting and completion of construction. So it's dependent on a number of factors, but usually several months.
This is actually a big challenge for us operationally, is that we can do things faster if we have all the information, but we spend an inordinate amount of time going back and forth to property owners, asking them to give us information that we need to do our job. It may require building plans or permits, other types of, depending on what you're doing, other types of cost-related documentation. And sometimes people don't want to give it to us, or they take a long time to get to us. If we don't have all the information, your parcel will be sitting in somebody's inbox until we get that all. But that's a big challenge. Is if you get letters from the assessor asking for information, it's important that you get that information to us as quickly as possible. Otherwise, there will be delays.
And the property tax is assessed on it is the same amount of time?
So we assess property on January 1st of every year. So and we do it based on the information we have available. So if you've not provided us all the information that we need on January 1st, we will make our best guess. And you could end up getting a tax bill that year that may be inaccurate, but it's going to be based on our best information. If you give us correct information, we can then adjust that.
Okay, we have one question here in person. Yolanda?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Prang. Thank you for your information. Sticking with the ADU, I believe it's the SB 9. Is there now a use code for that ADU? Because I remember several years ago, there wasn't really a use code. I know single families is 0100, 2 units is 0200. What is the use code for a single family residence and a legal ADU?
I'm going to call on Robert again. Robert, do you know?
Sure. Offhand, I'm not aware of the specific coding that we have for that, but our appraisals, I do believe that there is one for single family residences with an ADU. You can reach out to our district offices or any of our public service staff, and they should be able to provide information on that particular coding.
Yes, I appreciate it because I work for a title company. I'm sure all the title companies that are here present, I mean, we get asked that, to reflect on our preliminary report. And so, that's what we need to know as far as multiple dwellings does an ADU along with a single family residence fall into just multiple dwellings, or does it specify ADU somewhere on your tax roll sheet so that we can report it appropriately?
You can, my email is in the chat, probably at the top. Just send me an email reminding me of that question, and I'll have somebody get back with you.
I appreciate it. And sticking still with the ADU, the SB 9, I know that allows a homeowner to add a second dwelling, whether it's a residential unit or an ADU. But that's still subject to the city's requirements and setbacks. And if the square footage for the lot allows it, correct? I mean, that's still a lot of.
They have to allow you to do that by right, as long as it's really a function of space. So they're allowed to apply setbacks. They can apply certain design standards and height standards, but they have to. But they're very limited on that type of discretion. The law was written so that you have a right to build those, but the city does maintain.
Right, it's still subject to the requirements and setbacks per that city where the property is in.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's just do one more question from the chat box. I know there's a lot of questions. Sorry, we couldn't get to all of them, but I'm sure that maybe an email to Assessor Prang's office can get those questions answered. So this question is, if you have a need to make a repair, such as replace the wood siding of your property, and then while the outer walls are torn down, you upgrade the plumbing, is a reassessment triggered by the permits? And if so, how is the repair and the improvements values determined?
So typically the rule of thumb is if you are adding square footage or adding something to your property that was not previously there, those are typically subject to reassessment. If you are simply replacing what is already there, remodeling a kitchen or a bathroom, replacing a roof, or the plumbing, those would typically not be reassessable. There's a lot of conditions that could affect that. The way it will work is when you pull a permit from the city will send us a copy of it, and we will analyze that permit to see if it's a reassessable event. In the context of what you just said, I think it's probably unlikely that that would be reassessable.
Thank you so much, Assessor Prang. And thank you for answering all our questions. Thank you for the great presentation and great slides. We appreciate you, and have a wonderful day. I know you have to get going somewhere by 10 o'clock, so we appreciate your time.
If I may, I did want to, since I know you have a lot of title and escrow people on the line, I did want to offer one last piece of advice for them.
Sure.
One of the challenges we're having with Prop 19 is if you're a senior and you want to transfer your property, we need to know that you're a senior and if you're transferring your property tax base. And we're getting a lot of these documents are called the Preliminary Change in Ownership Report, or a PCOR, where they're not checking the right box saying I'm 55 or older and I'm transferring my property. It's really important that those PCOR, that pay special attention to those PCORs. If you're a senior, you could also fill out the Prop 19 document. If we don't know this is happening, that it's a transfer of your base year, you're going to get a supplemental tax bill. We estimate that about 1/3 of all Prop 19 applications incorrectly did the PCOR. So something to pay attention to.
I see. Thank you again. Let's give a round of applause for Assessor Prang.
Thank you so much.
And thank you also to Alda Riano and Robert Isuzaki, who has also helped us with some of the questions, or helped Assessor Prang as well. Thank you. Okay, now we come back to our WSGVR store drawing. Must be WSGVR members. And if virtual, please type in your email address if you do win into the chat box. Now let's start with, we have to get the names on the wheel, I believe. Why don't we do a live drawing? Let me grab the wheel. Okay, let's start with the live drawing. Here we go. First one to pick. Let's see who the lucky winner is. Oh, this one came up to me and told me this is not so-and-so's business card. That's Sil. Congrats, Sil. That's a $10 gift card to the store here at WSGVR. I also just wanted to point out we have some great things in the store that came in. Here are some new signs. Here are some new signs. Now look at this. What a beauty. For sale is in black and white. And we have coming soon, sale pending. You always want to see that. Sale pending or your listed properties. I do not know, but it's not free. Okay, let's do one on virtual. Let's spin the wheel. Oh, we got music. Dance. Prime time. I'm guessing it rhymes. Prime time? Not here. Okay, let's spin again. We have a soul sign as well. Nice. Sorry, hints. Is she here? Let's spin again. And look at all these colors for sold at the store. I love this pink one. Janner Chew. No Janner Chew. Okay, let's get one on virtual. We have a Jacqueline. Hi, Sai. She's not there. She went out for coffee. Okay, let's get one. This next one is going to be here. It's going to be here. Well, no. Linda or Linda Lam. No Linda Lam. What's going on? Where is everybody virtually? May Lau. Do we have a May Lau? No? All right, I'm gonna do one live right now. Let's break this up. Okay. Hortensia Ramirez. Congrats. You could buy one of these signs at the store and tell us how much they are. Okay, let's try this and again. Virtual winner. Oh, blank. Spin. Also at the store are these great signs you can put on your open house. It says, welcome, enjoy our open house, take a look, ask questions, imagine living here, make an offer. There are Louise Lowe in our virtual world. Somewhere? Is she there? I cannot see from here. No. Let's spin again. I'm running out of items. I didn't bring the whole store in here. This one here is another sign that says, welcome, use your shoes or use shoe covers. Isn't that nice? Hong Yan Lee?
Yes, I'm here.
Great, wonderful, thank you.
Welcome.
Please type your email in the chat box. Thank you for staying with us. Okay, we got one more for virtual, one more. We also have these flags in the store. Look, the first flag that says open house. Pending. Not here. Keep spinning. This is my last item to show. But there are plenty more items in the store. We have tumblers, we have shoe cover containers, open house signs, plenty of signs. Carla Joseph. Carla? You're not here. Oh, that's too bad. Haven't seen her in a while. Glad to see her name. Ching Wong. Is Ching Wong here? Ching Wong, are you? If you're here, please say something. Unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm here.
Congratulations. Woohoo!
Thank
you. Please type in your email in the chat box so you can claim your prize. Thank you. Okay. Whew, got done with those. Please remember to join us in our education classes. We have the 45-hour DRE license renewal continuing education. That's $85. That's Friday. That's tomorrow, 9:30 to 12:30. CRMLS virtual training, MLS Touch app is Wednesday of next week. And we have another 45-hour DRE license renewal continuing education on May 6th. Also, we have insurance versus condo commercial seminar, understanding the SBs will Governor Newsom's past Senate bills provide some new opportunities for California homeowners HOA, and that is on May 10th. Attendance drawing. Okay, let's do attendance drawing. Now, the pot now is $400. Big money. Big money. Your name name is on there. It just looks like quite a spokesman. Who is the lucky winner? Hector Marquez. We have Hector Marquez here or in our virtual world. Not here. You know what that means? Next week, it's $425. Woohoo, it just keeps growing. Okay. Now we have 50-50, I believe. Now remember, we are back with donuts here. $425 for attendance drawing next week. 50-50 is $33. Big money, big money. Okay. The number I will be calling is 432-640. 640. We have a winner here. Please come on up and claim your cash. You have to fan it out like this. Thank you. Let me check the ticket. And what is your name? Karen. Karen is our lucky winner for today. Congrats. Wonderful. Thank you. Please join us for next week's meeting, April 28th, as we welcome our affiliate title panel. Now, next week, I will not be here as I will be going to Sacramento for CAR, but we have Brandon Savansky, our affiliate chair, who will be hosting the meeting next week, and he will also be doing affiliate panel. Thank you. And congratulations to our board again for 100 years. Our meeting is now adjourned. Thank you for joining us.